Now, one thing I'll say that's very true is that if you get your heart broken, you will become a player. This is a common thing that everyone should know about. But today's story that I'm about to tell you was the origin story of how I became the master of the Devil's Tango and how I became who I am today. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, I want to let you know that this channel is basically all the stories of how I basically did the Devil's Tango with so many different girls and became the player that is known on the internet, which is weird because I tell stories with using a little character, but at the same time, I am a real person. And today's story is basically the story about how I became an innocent kid that was a helpless romantic to, well, the most evil of all men that became the biggest player that girls really don't like nowadays, but still fall for. You see, the story all starts back when I was in high school, and this was back when I was in my grade 9 year. Now, when I was in grade 9, I was a pretty basic person, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I already did the Devil's Tango, but not in a sense of like actually falling in love with a person. I only just did it because it happened out of inconvenience, which there's another video if you want to see that to understand what really happened. But for actually falling in love with a person, that didn't happen until my grade 9 year. And in my grade 9 year, I fell in love with one of the most insane women ever. It all started off in my grade 9 year and I was running towards my science class. Funny enough, I was actually late for science because for some reason I had no clean clothes, so I had to pull clothes out of my laundry basket. And I guess that took me so much time because I kept looking for clean clothes when I didn't have any. I mean, joke's on me, I didn't do my laundry, nor did I know how to use a laundry machine back then. But still, I was pretty privileged growing up. But I remember running to school, and when I ran into my science class, I finally got in there and I went and sat down. I went and sat down and just started talking to some of my friends, and my friend that had a girlfriend ended up walking up to me. He walked up to me and said, "Yo, Bubba, I was just wondering, do you want to like maybe like come over after school and like hang out? I have my girlfriend coming over, but she's bringing her friend, and honestly, she's like kind of annoying. So like, do you want to like maybe like be there to like kind of make it like a double date?" Yeah, sure. No, I don't mind, to be honest. Am I able to do my science homework there? Because I'm kind of late. Huh? Yeah, no, it's totally chill. I can help you with the homework. It's really easy. Okay, yeah, cool. That'll be awesome. So I remember after making that plan, in my mind, I didn't really think too much about it in the moment because, you know, helping my buddies, like, you know, have some alone time with their girl, and I guess in a way being like the human shield from the annoying friend was something I was used to being. I know it sounds kind of sad, but most guys need this kind of homie. Comment down below if you've ever done this for a homie. But, you know, being there to like secure a good time for your other friend is a normal thing to do. And I remember after we secured the plan, I remember I was walking with him down the hallway and I look over at him and ask him, "Yo, so total weird question. Who's the girl that I'm like hanging out with? Like, what's her name? Like, who is she exactly? Like, why is she so annoying?" "Oh, basically like this girl, she like comes from like the island like every like weekend almost and like always hangs out with my girlfriend. And like this weekend, me and my girlfriend want to actually like watch through a movie marathon. But like this girl's super annoying and like she always talks during movies. But if you're there, maybe you could like, you know, distract her and let her talk to you as we focus on the movie." "Oh, okay. What movie are we watching?" "Oh, we're watching all the Harry Potter movies. So we're gonna be there for a bit. So like if you want to sleep over, that'd be totally cool too." At that moment, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to sleep over because knowing that like, you know, I had to be a human shield for like a good like couple hours, I didn't mind. But doing it for like a whole 24 hours, well, that wasn't really something I wanted to do. But honestly, knowing that we were watching a movie, maybe she would, you know, take a hint and be quiet. So I decided to basically follow through with the plan. And let's just say when the day finally arrived when I was supposed to go over to his place, well, this is where things get annoying. Because I remember I ended up going home and I finally got clean clothes, put them on, and I ran over to his house. And when I got there, I remember he ended up coming out of his bedroom and he looks at me saying, "Yo, bro, my girlfriend's gonna be here like any minute now. She says she'll be here in like 10. Do you want to like, I don't know, like get something to eat real quick or something?" No, I'm okay, to be honest. I'm not that hungry." "Okay, here's a photo of the girl and this is what she looks like. She's all right, but like, you know, she's really annoying." At that moment, he ends up showing me his phone, and this girl that he showed me was actually someone extremely beautiful. Like, no joke, this girl was like easily like a 9 out of 10, which is kind of crazy because for some reason, it's always the really attractive girls that end up being the most crazy. I don't know if this is just something I learned, but in a way, like I just found that out from experience. But going on with the story, I remember after 10 minutes went by and I was just basically scrolling through this girl's like, you know, social medias, we ended up hearing a knock on the door. And me and my buddy, we ended up going to the door and they both enter inside. His girlfriend looks over at me and says, "Oh, I didn't know you were bringing Bubba." "Oh, yeah, babe. I wanted to become watch because like, you know, he likes Harry Potter as well." And that's when this annoying, really hot, attractive girl walks in and says, "Oh my goodness, like I love Star Wars. Like it's gonna be super fun. Wait, who are you?" "Oh, hi, my name's Bubba. Nice to meet you." At that moment, I ended up shaking her hand, you know, being polite, but like at the same time, not trying to riz too hard because at the same time, like, you know, she was hot. So like, why not, you know, show that I was a gentleman? But I remember as me and her started talking, I started to realize that this girl would talk a lot, like so much to the point where I didn't even notice that my friend and his girlfriend ended up leaving the room. She kept blabbing on about how like her life is like really entertaining and how she loves Harry Potter and how she's basically like a Scorpio Scorpio? I don't really know, to be honest. She started blabbing about things that I really never thought I would care about. But then I remember we finally ended up moving over to the living room. When we sat down, we started watching the movie. And that's when, I'm not gonna lie, something just ended up hitting me. I don't know if it was because she was like, you know, sitting next to me or because she was really beautiful, but for some reason, every time I would look at her, I would somewhat smile. I didn't know what was going on because, like I said, even though I was a helpless romantic, falling in love that quick was never really something I expected. But going on from there, I remember after we finished the first movie, we ended up eating a lot of snacks, and knowing that we had a whole another one to watch, I remember the girl looks over at me and says, oh, so like, Baba, like, honestly, like, tell me a bit about you. Like, what do you do? Oh, I play video games, and I don't know, I kind of just do stuff. Oh, okay, like, what kind of stuff? Like, what do you want to be when you get older? Now, whenever a girl asks me what I want to do when I get older, I never really knew what to say, because I'm gonna be brutally honest, I never expected to be a content creator online telling embarrassing stories. So I ended up looking at her and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I've always kind of like wanted to be a, you know, maybe a rapper or something. Oh, like, do you know how to rap? No, definitely not. I don't know. I kind of just want to, like, you know, I guess do something online, maybe like film for like big famous people. Oh my goodness, that's really cool. Do you know any celebrities to like get you in that industry? Nope, none at all, is what I would tell her. And honestly, like, she was just being really weird and trying to dig into me to the point where I decided to flip things over to her and basically start asking her about her life instead, knowing that she was able to go on and on about it. And she started to go on and on about her family life, her trauma, and everything, to the point where me and her, funny enough, we ended up actually leaving the house together. I don't even know how, but my friend was totally cool with it, and to be honest, he was too distracted with the second movie of Harry Potter to really even notice it. But I remember me and her, we ended up going to the front yard and we started walking around my neighborhood, and we just started talking to each other about basically like life goals and achievements and how we see the world differently. Conversations like these always could lead to potential lovers, by the way, because if you guys see eye to eye on some things, it could establish a, I guess, connection in some sort. But I'm not gonna lie, one thing I started to realize as we were walking around my neighborhood is that she really, like, I guess, understood me in some sorts. Like, I don't know what it was, but it felt like everything was like in the right time, in the right place. And knowing that I was with her made me happy. It got to the point where I remember after walking around the neighborhood for a while, I ended up getting a phone call from my friend, and he's like, yo, bro, where'd you go? Like, are you still at my house? What? No, we left a while ago. Oh, okay, well, like, have fun, I guess. And he just hangs up the phone. So knowing that, me and this girl, we ended up just basically, like, I guess, hanging out even more. And we ended up going to my high school, and we ended up laying down the football field and just talking about life even more. It got to the point where me and her even started cuddling each other. And no, we didn't do anything on the football field, but one thing I can say is that this girl, she ended up saying words to me that honestly I think kind of like was in a sense flirting, because she ended up saying, honestly, Baba, like, no one's ever listened to me like you do, and honestly I think you're amazing. Oh, thanks, is what I said. And right as I said thank you, she ends up coming over onto me and kissing me. Now at that moment, boom, for some reason my heart was racing and I think I was falling in love. And this is where everything starts to go downhill, because I remember knowing that she kissed me like made things insane. And from that day forth, no joke, me and this girl would talk to each other non-stop. It would always be over the phone, and when she went back to the island during the week, she would always FaceTime me, text me, and there was like a feeling where there was no moment where we were apart from each other other than when I was at school or if I was busy eating family dinner. Other than that, even when I was playing Call of Duty with my friends on Xbox, she would be on FaceTime with me, watching me while she was doing her own thing. In a way, it was like kind of like a long distance relationship, but a really strong connection, which honestly I always loved, and it kind of filled that hole of me being a helpless romantic. But sadly, all good things must fall apart. At least that's what John Bellion said in his song, all good things fall apart. Because I remember there was one day where I wanted to ask her to be my girlfriend. I was actually so sure of it to the point where I told her, hey, like, the next weekend you come down, honestly, like, can I, like, I don't know, take you out for like a dinner? Oh my goodness, I thought you would never ask. Of course you can. And this was like after me and her were talking for like almost 2 weeks straight. So I'm like super excited, and I'm like, you know, super hyped that I'm actually going on a date, like a proper date, I should say, with this girl. And it got to the point where I remember I felt like there was like a potential of this girl like being like my future like high school sweetheart, my future wife, like basically the whole love-dovey thing. Like I was basically almost ready to give up every idea of another woman in my life just for her, which is a big deal, by the way. For anyone that's gone through breakups, you guys would know what this feeling's like. But when the day finally came of me and her going on a date, we ended up meeting up with each other. And at the time I was in grade 9. I didn't have a car until like my grade 10 year. So knowing I had to bus over to her to see her at the restaurant I wanted to see her at was pretty embarrassing now that I really think about it. But at the same time, you work with what you can work with back when you're younger. And I remember I ended up meeting up with her at the restaurant. Me and her sat down and ate, and we ate like a really expensive like sushi meal because she loves sushi. And to be fair, so do I. I ended up paying like almost like basically like $80, which was a lot for me back in high school for our meal together. But luckily I had a good savings that my parents established for me. And I remember after me and her ate, one thing I started to realize was that that her phone kept vibrating and buzzing. I was really confused because I thought I was the only person, you know, messaging her that much, but surprisingly I wasn't. And when I asked her, oh, like, who keeps texting you? Oh, it's my mom. Like, just don't worry about it. She's just worried about me every time I go out on the weekends. Oh, okay. That's fine, is what I said. And I didn't think too much of it since I was madly in love with this girl. But honestly, this girl had different plans, because I remember even after texting back her mom, the phone kept vibrating and vibrating and vibrating to the point where I started to get kind of, I guess, worried. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because I was insecure or if I didn't trust her, but I guess, like, I don't know, I tried to like see past it because, like I said earlier, I was in love with her. And I remember after we finished eating dinner, she ends up getting a phone call, and she stands up and goes outside of the restaurant while I'm sitting in there paying for the bill. And I remember when she was on the phone, she started like kind of like twirling with her hair, and I was like, okay, maybe she does that normally, because I've seen her do it on FaceTime when she was on the phone with me. And after, when I paid the bill and I walked out to go see her, I see her look at me and instantly hang up the phone. And that's when I got sick to my stomach, because like her parents did know about me, so like I'm confused. What's going on here? I remember she looks over at me and says, oh, Bubba, don't worry about it. I was just you know, talking to like my mom, and like honestly I have to go soon. Oh, wait, your mom's also here? Well, no, but she's gonna pick me up soon. Honestly, I think like we should end the date off here. I honestly think you're amazing, and I can't wait to see you again. At that moment, she comes up to me and kisses me. And that kind of like gave me that reassurance that like, you know, this girl's definitely not gonna cheat on me or leave me. But for some reason, I still felt those butterflies in my stomach as if something bad was gonna happen. So I remember after she started walking away from me, I ended up basically like kind of walking around the corner till she couldn't see me. And then I turned right back around. I started following her and seeing where she was going. And one thing I started to realize was that this girl was walking 4 blocks just to see her mom. Like, what kind of mom does that to her own daughter? And finally, after I had questions that I want to ask her, and as I was texting her saying if her mom picked her up and she wouldn't answer, I ended up seeing a car pull up from a guy that was a lot older than me, can I just say? And he was driving like this like Honda like sports car, and like I saw her walk up to the window, and I thought it was like maybe her brother or something, but then she opened the door, got inside the car, and kissed the guy. And at that moment, my heart sank, and my heart sank to the point where it grew 3 sizes smaller. No joke. Like, I didn't even know what to feel. I didn't even know what to say. I was actually on the verge of crying. I almost wanted to walk up to the car and confront her on it. But like I said, back then, I wasn't as confident as I was now when it came to women. And to be fair, I love this girl so much that I couldn't do that to her and embarrass her, which sounds insane now that I think about it, because I would have totally confronted her. I love confronting my exes nowadays. But at that moment, I couldn't. I really just, for some reason, couldn't. I stood still. I froze. I was being stupid. I honestly, I beat myself up for it, like, to this day. And I remember she ended up driving away. And at that moment, I ended up trying to call her to, like, you know, check up on her, right? To see if she would, like, you know, tell me the honest truth, or if I'm, you know, getting something wrong here. But every time I tried calling her, it just would go straight to voicemail, and she would text me saying, hey, I'm in the car with my mom. Don't worry about me. And at that moment, I knew that this girl was definitely cheating on me. What did I do to get her back? Well, honestly, this story's been long enough, and I think if you guys want the next part, maybe like 100 likes and I'll tell you guys it. But like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.